Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. Please go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, hit the like button. You here? Just hit the like button. All right. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and share this video with somebody once we're done. All right. Also, if you have questions about anything that I attempt to explain, please put your questions in the comment section or make your comments. Put your comments in the comment section. That's cool too. All right. So, what are we doing today? We are solving an equation. And what is our equation? It's a quadratic. It says the quantity of x plus 4 squared is equal to 49. All right. So when we solve for x, we want to figure out what numerical value of x will make this a true statement, because math is all about finding the truth. And correct answers give us the truth. All right. So we want to isolate this x all by itself on the left side of the equation. Right. Right now it's not isolated because you got this plus 4, you got this exponent. Those are the two things we got to get rid of. All right. So and then you got to know, okay, well, what do I get rid of first? If I got to get rid of these two things, do I get rid of the 4 first? Do I get rid of the 2 first? Right? You're going to get rid of the exponent first, right? You're going to get rid of the exponent first. Now the question is how? You know what to do. How do you do it? Whenever you're trying to get rid of something or eliminate something in an algebraic equation, you must do the opposite operation from what that thing is doing, right? Or what that thing is involved in, the opposite operation. So this 2 is an exponent. It's an exponent 2, right? What is the opposite of an exponent? The opposite, or we should say this in terms of the action, the opposite of squaring something, because this means all of this squared. So ask yourself, what is the opposite of squaring something, right? See, math helps you to build your critical thinking skills. And one way it does that is by forcing us to ask questions, ask intelligent questions so that we can find answers. But we got to know what questions to ask. So we ask ourselves, what is this 2 doing? It's squaring x plus 4. So then you say, well, what's the opposite of squaring something? The answer is taking the square root of something. The opposite of squaring something is taking the square root of something. So that's what we're going to do to get rid of this exponent. And because it's an equation and we want to stay balanced, if I do this on the left side of the equation, I need to also do it on the right side of the equation. Left side, right side, left side, right side. Stay balanced. So we got this, right? We're going to have, write your radical sign. That's the square root symbol, this radical sign, right? We're going to write this inside. We're going to rewrite this. And then over here, we're at the equal sign, square root of 49. Now, another thing you got to know is that when we're solving a quadratic equation like this, and we take the square root of both sides of the equation, we have to write the plus or minus symbol. Again, the plus or minus symbol must be written on the other side of the equal sign. The plus or minus symbol must be written on the other side of the equal sign, right? Because the positive results of this and the negative results of this will satisfy the equation. All right. So now what happens with this exponent 2 and this radical sign? They basically cancel each other out. They basically cancel each other out because they're inverses of each other. So that leaves us with what? X plus 4 is equal to plus or minus. Don't forget the plus or minus symbol. And then what is the square root of 49? See, this is why knowing your multiplication facts comes in play. Because if you know your multiplication facts, you know all the factors of 49, right? And you know that 7 times 7 is 49. Because if you know your 7 facts, you know 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 is a perfect square because its square root is a whole number, the number 7. So therefore, the square root of 49 is just 7. So now we got x plus 4 equals plus or minus 7. All right. So now we want to isolate x by itself. So we got to get rid of this 4. So then you ask yourself, what is the 4 doing? The 4 is being added. The 4 is being added. What's the opposite of adding 4? Ask yourself that. The answer is subtracting 4. The opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do minus 4 on the left side, and we're going to do minus 4 on the right side. Now pay attention to what I do next. Now 4 minus 4 is 0. That's why I put the slash marks, because it's 0, right? Then the x comes down. The equal sign comes down. Now be careful, because this is a quadratic, we're going to have 2 answers. In linear equations, we only have 1 answer. But this is a quadratic because you got an exponent 2. So that's why we should have 2 answers, even though sometimes the 2 answers will be the same number, right? But we're going to have 2 answers. So because we have a positive 7 and a negative 7, this plus or minus symbol means that this represents a positive 7 and a negative 7. We just write the plus or minus symbol to prevent us from having to write two separate equations at this point. Because I could have said x plus 4 equals 7, and then I could have also wrote x plus 4 equals negative 7. I could have wrote out the equation twice, but the plus or minus symbol prevents me from having to write the equation out twice. Again, like I said, a lot of math is like slang. A lot of the math terminology, a lot of the math symbols we use, it's like slang, right? But you got to know what the slang means. The slang saves us time. It saves us energy. It saves us from having to write a whole bunch of stuff that we don't necessarily need to write, but you got to know the language though. Math is a language. Algebra is a language. Geometry is a language, but you got to know how to read it, speak it, and write it. So you got to know what this plus or minus symbol means. It means that this represents a positive 7 and a negative 7 that you got to deal with one at a time. So in our step right here, we got to do 7 minus 4, and we got to do negative 7 minus 4. So we got to do positive 7 minus 4. That's going to give us an answer. And then we got to do negative 7 minus 4. That's going to give us another answer. So what is 7 minus 4? 3. So you write the 3. Then you put a comma. Because then you got to deal with the negative 7. What's negative 7 minus 4? Negative 11. So these are our two solutions. These are our two solutions. Now, how do we know that that's right? And I don't want you to like be the person that got to sit in class and just wait for your teacher or hope that it's right, or you know what I'm saying? Wait for what is it? What y'all use, like Delta Math or Desmos, right? Or Math IXL. Just wait for it to tell you like, spectacular, super, fantastic, whatever, right? Nah, don't wait for that. You should know that it's right. Don't wait for the computer to tell you that it's right and validate you. Don't wait for your teacher to tell you that it's right. Just check your work. So take this 3, right? Throw it back in the original equation. What's 3 plus 4? 7. What's 7 to the second power? 49. That is proof that 3 is correct, because 3 gives us a true statement, right? Because 3 plus 4 is 7, and 7 squared is 49, and 49 is equal to 49. What about negative 11? Negative 11 plus 4, make sure you know how to do addition and subtraction with negative numbers. You got to know how to do that, all right? Make sure you are familiar with the number line, right? And you know that negative 11 plus 4 means that you start at negative 11 on the number line, and since you're doing addition, you slide into the right, you slide in 4 spaces, right? So you slide in 4 spaces, so you're going to end up at negative 7. So negative 11 plus 4 equals negative 7, right? And then what's negative 7 squared? That means negative 7 times negative 7. Negative times a negative is always a positive. So that's going to give you the same thing that 7 times 7 would give you. Negative 7 times negative 7 is going to be positive 49. So this is also a true statement. It's also correct. So these are your two answers: positive 3, negative 11. Positive 3, negative 11. This is how you do it. This is how you solve an equation like this. Not the only way necessarily, but this is one way. We could have expanded this out and then subtracted 49 on both sides and then set it equal to 0 and then possibly factored it, or use the completing the square method or the quadratic formula or something like that. But this is good. This is good. This is a good way to do it. Get rid of the exponent, get rid of the 4. Get rid of the exponent, get rid of the 4. But you got to make sure you know how to do it. It's one thing in math to know what to do, but then you got to know how to do it. So there's what and there's how. And you also should know why. You know why you're doing what you're doing, right? Know why you're doing the steps. Know why it makes sense mathematically. All right. So if you didn't already, like I told you earlier, if you didn't follow my instructions, hit the like button. All right. Hit the like button. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, share this video with somebody. If anything up here does not make sense to you still, that's fine. That's cool. Please let me know. Put your question in the comments. All right. I might make a follow-up video based on your question. All right. So stay tuned. All right. See y'all later.